All right, Wayne Bettis here, the founder of the Off the Tools podcast. I just want to introduce you to our brand new sponsor, directplumbing.supplies.com. It is founded by a former tradesman who has set up his own plumbing and heating merchants. He has an online shop, which is obviously at directplumbing.supplies.com, and he delivers across the UK. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show.
You are now listening to Off the Tools with the one and only Wayne Bettis.
If you're passionate and driven and focused in what you do, people will take notice. You can achieve anything you want to achieve in life.
The excuses are not valid.
Hello, everyone. On the Zoom call today, we've got Anya, we've got Russ, we've got Etan. Etan's probably eating his dinner and going to the gym and feeding the dog all at the same time. Okay, wait, hold on. I need to unmute Wayne again. Okay, that's the important bit. Okay.
Right, this is becoming a bit of a trend, right? Okay, you're stealing my thunder. All right.
Right, first things first, house rules. If you're on the Zoom call, let's see your face. Please turn on your
see
camera.
some people.
Don't hide away. We like to have like real conversations. And I've been preparing this intro for a long time. And I'm gonna start hyping us up for success. And it goes a little bit like this. Live from the UK, it's the one and only Wayne's World Wednesdays.
Yeah. For the tens of the people watching and the millions missing out, let's get this show on the road. If there is not a tune that pumps you up.
Okay, there we go.
That was a good one. That was a good one. I like it. I like it.
Now, we all need a little bit of Rocky Balboa, and he has got one of my favorite lines in Rocky 5. And he's talking to his son, and he says, "It's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can keep on getting hit and getting back up to the fight."
Very true. Everyone fails or gets knocked down, but like as you just said, it's how you bounce back from it and how you respond and the lessons learned.
I think it's one of those traits that an entrepreneur, you just have to come to terms with it. I know when I started running my own business, like I didn't actually get that winning wasn't really about, winning the fight. It was actually just more about like your tolerance, right? Your resilience, your tolerance to just move forward despite all of the setbacks and all of the punches.
Yeah, it's what separates the winners and the losers, isn't it? Is a lot of people will take the first one or two defeats or mistakes or problems and just buckle and give up and go back to the status quo. But those that achieve anything, push through that, they drag themselves back up on the days where, that most people would quit and they keep fighting, they keep pushing forward. They might get knocked back a few pegs here and there, but they just keep driving. And that's a mentality that, if we could instill that in some people, it's an unbelievable superpower. It's what it is. It's a superpower. As simple as that. It is the difference between success and failure.
Mm-hmm. And you know a little bit. You have some stories of that are very close to your heart too, Wayne, don't you?
What, success and failure?
I mean, you've experienced both, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, success is a very fruitile word. So what I deem as a success, someone standing right next to me might not see that as a success. And there's a lesson there. You shouldn't measure yourself against anyone other than you. At the end of the day, my fight is with me, and my attempt is to be a better dad, a better husband, a better businessman, a better entrepreneur, a better business coach every day. I'm not trying to compete with anybody else. I'm competing with myself. And yeah, like you say, I've had some big knocks, you know. Some of you guys might have already heard some of the stories where I basically lost everything. Was in a very, very dark place for a good few years.
Mm-hmm.
But I got back. I bounced back. It took me a bit longer. Now, any mistakes, any things that go wrong, I bounce back a lot quicker. I suppose it's like in boxing terminology, as we use Rocky for the intro, it's you train your chin, you know, to a degree. You get used to them body punches, and you can absorb a lot more than someone that hasn't ever had that before. So yeah, I don't see it. I don't like using the word failure, because every so-called failure, there's a positive in there somewhere. There's a lesson, there's an experience, there's a story to tell about it. Yeah, so yeah, I think many of us on here will have all had ups, downs, roundabouts. You know, I'm certainly not the only one, and and I'm damn right sure that there'll be plenty more along this journey that I'm on as well.
So while we're collating the questions that we got, I'd love to maybe do a round or see if anyone on the Zoom call, including yourself, Wayne, of course, can share with us a story of, say, when you've been down and out, when you've lost it all, or when you thought, when was a dark time in your life or in your business that you overcome, and what did you do, and how did you come out of it stronger, better, greater, and with a brighter future? How did that failure help you become the person you are today? And that's open for everybody on the Zoom call as well, if they want to butt in.
Yeah, I'll see if anyone else pipes up first. It'd be good to hear some other people's success failures. Oh, we got a quiet crowd, Francis.
Yeah, we don't like to. We are men, right? We don't like to talk about failure. We've never failed.
I'll go in a little bit deeper into mine if no one's going to pipe up. But basically, I was young. I was cocky. I thought that I had made it. You know, I had a bathroom showroom. I had a plumbing merchants. I had, I think, over 10 field staff plus office staff, showroom manager, wore a suit. You know, I thought I was only about 24, 25. And basically just got far too busy, far too quick, with no systems, no processes. I had no mentors. I had no understanding that there was a way to learn. Oh, sorry, Francis, you've gone quiet. No. Can you all hear me? Yeah. Sorry, I thought I saw your mouth moving, but back then when I was going through it, there was none of this. There was no real podcasts out there. There was no groups, communities of other people that were going through that journey. And basically I starved the business of cash. And the realization was there was two. The first one was a health issue. I had to get taken into hospital. Bear in mind, I was only 25, and my whole side of my face, this side of my face, went numb, and I was slurring my words. And we thought it was a stroke. Like that was the initial thought. Got hooked up on all the machines and everything, and it was actually something called Bell's palsy, which is it's a nervous infection in the cranial nervous system in your brain and your face. And it's a bit of an unknown. There's no real 100% certainty of what causes it, but the consensus in the medical industry is that it's induced from stress. And so that was like my first wake-up call. I was like 25, I've got a young family, and it was like, shit, okay, something's not right here. I've got to sort something out. And then that led me down the path of starting to look at the business a little bit, because I'd never sort of stopped. I just sort of had my foot to the ground and was just going. Do you know, any job that come in, it was like, yes, boom, like, let's just bring it in. I thought it was bringing in all this money. And then after that medical scare, I started to look at the accounts and started to see huge chasms in what was owed and what I owed. And it was it still is the worst 2-3 months of my life. Was I had to seek, stupidly, I buried my head in the sand and I didn't go and speak to anyone around me, didn't really tell anybody. I didn't even go and speak to my own accountant. I looked online and found some liquidation company, and anyone that's been through that process will know that it's a shark industry. And I took the advice of the first man that come through the door. He told me to just shut the doors, not pay anybody, and I could walk away with some money in my pocket. But I just couldn't do it. You know, I had old school friends employed. I had, you know, people that were close to me. So I took the decision is that I paid every one of my staff before I closed the door. Yeah, there were merchants that didn't get paid. You know, I've got to hold my hands up. There wasn't any money in the business. And I certainly walked away with nothing, you know, I to the point where I could have lost, at the time I owned a flat, and we could have lost that, but I managed to do deals to repay bits that needed to be paid. And it was just such a scary place, because I'd gone from, my perception was that I was this king dingaling geezer in the town, young, driving a flash motor, had a shop, you know, had all my vans all over the town and area. And then within a space of a couple of weeks, I had nothing, didn't even have a van, because it was leased. They were leased, so they all got took back. I had some basic tools, and my ego was like minus 1,000. And I basically just sort of cocooned myself off. I put on probably 4 stone, I reckon it was, over that couple of year period. It was a very, very tough place, and I know from experience that there's lots of people that have been in similar situations. And if anyone listening is even 1/10 concerned that they might be heading down the wrong path, speak about it. Speak to people around you, speak to some professionals that know what they're doing, because it happens. Business is business. At the end of the day, you know, a business is a risk, and sometimes they don't work out. But the worst thing you can do is bury your head in the sand. That added so much, so many more problems that didn't need to happen if I had just been honest with the people around me and sort of accepted the situation. It was my first failure. Up until that point, I had won. You know, I was a little shit at school, but straight out of school, within 2 years, I was earning 30 grand a year. You know, I won everything I did. I did an online business, made like 40, 50 grand on that. Everything up until then, everything I touched had worked out in my favor. I had 2 beautiful kids at the time, beautiful girlfriend that I'd been with since I was 18. So everything was I had never experienced failure, and it was a tough pill, definitely.
It's interesting you talked about your ego, and I definitely love to talk about that, but I'd love to hear you view, like, how do you feel now about like ego in business? As obviously you're older, wiser now. You were young. It was you know, you said that, you know, a lot of part of what made it so difficult was like this pride thing, in your business, pride, maybe you made money, and then to have it stripped from you, right? And how looking back at that time in your life, how would you say that ego played a part in your recovery, and where does the ego fit into your new business now, which is a success, or which is a profitable business?
Yeah. So back then, my ego was that I had to be the man. I couldn't have feelings. I couldn't worry about things. I was the leader. I was the leader of my little pack, that I had built, whether it was my family or my work environment. And it was just an obstacle. It really was. It was just a huge obstacle that, had I not had such a big ego, I would have possibly been able to save it, because I probably would have spotted some warning signs earlier, but I kept just thinking I could sell my way out of the trouble. I'll just sell another bathroom. We'll just sell another boiler. We'll take on another engineer and we'll find the work. We'll just sort of like stupidly just sort of thought I could outgrow the problem. And it was the ego that drove that, because I didn't want to lose what I'd built. I had this like the upstairs of the showroom was, one half was a merchant's, but the other half had sofas, computers, like after work, or sometimes 3-4 o'clock, some of the lads would turn back up and we'd muck about. We'd go down the chip shop, get some beers. It was like a social, like I was like addicted to being the leader of this little crew. And then when that went, it was just like, oh shit, who am I? Like, whoa, where's that all gone? And the biggest lesson about that now is that, I don't have an ego. I might come across that I do, because I put myself out there, but I don't put myself out there to patronize people. I don't put myself out there to try and tell people that my way of, or my methodologies are the only way. I put myself out there purely because I don't ever want people to go through what I went through. If I didn't have a strong wife, there's a good chance that I wouldn't have even been here. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, let alone anybody else. So egos, they have their place. You have to have a little bit of like trust in yourself, but not if it becomes an ego. For me, that just crosses over the line of where it should be. You should have confidence in yourself, but that doesn't have to mean that you've got an ego around yourself.
So David has a question here in the chat, and it's relevant to this, David.
Yeah.
If you want to put your camera on, you can ask Wayne directly. I'll unmute you. We can have a little chat. If you're a little bit shy, that's okay. Oh, wait.
I think he's still muted.
He's there.
There we go.
Hello.
Wayne. How you doing?
Yeah, good, man.
Good. It was just a quick question. What was the biggest thing you learned from your first venture that has ensured you now run a successful business and you haven't made those same financial mistakes again?
You've just answered it. The financials. It doesn't matter. Everything else doesn't matter. The books don't lie. So keeping as live accounts as you can possibly is so important, because if you're doing your books very, very regularly, they don't lie. It's black and white. It's a yes or a no. I've made money or I haven't made money. So the way I do it now, I literally run a profit and loss at least once a week to look at the previous week's performances. It's on Xero. It's a click of a button. I've got no excuse not to. It takes 2 minutes to press a button. And yeah, of course, business is business. You don't always make loads of money. So, but what it does is it will tell me that something's not worked. So it could show that I've only broke even or made a little bit of money. So to me, that's then a trigger. And for me to act, it gives me something to direct to. Whereas back then, I would have been lucky to see the year's account 6 months after the year had finished. So before I realized that I had this like 100 grand that I owed out, but I was only owed 30 grand. It was too late. It was, there's a 70 grand chasm now. Whereas if I'd seen it earlier, I could have at 10, 15, 20 grand, that's a fightable, achievable sort of recovery. You can deal with that. But, the bigger it goes and the longer it goes on, it gets too big to fight. So fundamentally, it's having a good grasp on the numbers. And I think Lee Maloney, he's not on the call today, but he mentioned about people saying know your numbers. Well, what does that actually mean? Basically, in essence, it's your profit and loss. Everything else, yeah, of course, there's you should be keeping an eye on your cost of materials. You should be keeping an eye on your overheads and all of that. Of course you should. But fundamentally, the one important number is it a plus number or is it a minus number after everything's come in and come out? And yeah, that was the biggest lesson, was seeing that as often as possible. Back then, I don't even know if Zero was out. It was about 6-7 years ago. So I don't know when Zero really took off, but nowadays there is literally no excuse not to, because you have everything there. You know, most softwares will put the invoices in. All you've got to do is put your receipts in, which even now that's semi-auto, isn't it? Because you can use like where the merchants
Receipt
email
bank.
them into Zero and Receipt Bank and stuff. So yeah, that was the biggest lesson, definitely. And you know, all the different ventures that I'm involved in and deal with now, that is the first thing I need to be able to see. That's what we need to generate. Then the week later, did we generate that? Yes or no? No. Okay, so next week we can't let this happen again. So we can change the plan. We can adjust to make sure that if there are points where it's not making money, we get at it straight away rather than leave it 6 months, a year.
Brilliant. Thank you.
No worries.
So one of the comments that's been shared with me by Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh says, I had a business partner 12 years ago. 18 months into it, he ransacked everything.
Oh,
I walked away with 500 pounds in my pocket. I lost a fortune. Within a week, everyone was on the phone to me wanting me to carry on doing the work for them without my business partner. They never liked him, and we weren't happy. We were happy we weren't together. So
Yeah.
not looked back since in over 10 years. So Matt, thanks for sharing your.
thanks for sharing, Matt. I never knew that. You know, we talk to each other regularly. He's one of the admins on my group, and I didn't know that about him. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, mate.
Well,
one thing I would like to add as well. Sorry, I totally missed that. From that sob story that I just gave you. I'm going to be on X Factor with that, and that was a good one. There was a business partner involved, and it wasn't a bad. Basically, we merged two plumbing companies together, so and that's how we become partners. And it wasn't. We didn't like. There was a lot of talk on the group about partnerships and that, and we didn't end in a bad way. You know, we're not exactly friends purely because our lives have drifted apart, if you know what I mean. But we certainly didn't end on bad terms, and it definitely wasn't any conflict between what we thought each other had done or anything like that. Just on the rare occurrence that he might be listening, I just wanted to get that out so he didn't think that I blamed him or anything like that.
So cool. Well, I think that was a great start because, you know, failure is just as important as success. This is about the 3 B's, right, Wayne? Your 3 B's.
Yeah, business, body, and balance.
Exactly. And
fundamental.
Balance, yin and yang, good and bad, left and right. It's a natural part of life. And I think this is, you know, an outlet for people to just talk about what's going on and see if, you know, people can relate to, learn from your experiences, your failures and wins as well. And everybody's got them, right? And there's nothing to be ashamed
of. On the win, I want to turn this to a positive now. Yeah. I am now just 4 sales away from hitting my 150 target. So edging ever closer. Slowly getting there. We've got some more music.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep that on first. Select.
You're gonna get us kicked off Facebook for that, isn't you? You do know that.
Oh no.
Plagiarism, isn't it, or whatever they call it?
Okay, so we got some questions coming in, and we're gonna get to some business at the moment. And just before I get to the questions, Wayne and I wanted to tell everybody about something that's going on. You might have seen that we have a little crack team, and we're engaging with the platform, and that's because we're actually looking how to help the community a little more and to leverage this thriving community of business owners and see where we can help. And so maybe, Wayne, you want to tell everybody about this masterclass that we're launching very soon?
I know what you're on about. What?
Okay, it's a mystery. It's a mystery.
I wanted to see how he reacted to that. So obviously, like me, Francis, and Carolina are like working together. We do work on lots of different things. But one thing that we noticed is that a lot of people, there seems to be a lot of conversation about leads, how to actually take a lead from sort of coming in to getting the sale, to getting the after sales that you might want from them and the future work, etc. We decided that we're going to sort of pool our knowledge, where we've got someone like Francis and Carolina with marketing experience and expertise. And then you've got some gobby bald guy that thinks he knows a little bit about stuff. It's going to be a masterclass on lead generation as a whole. More details will come out over the next day. It's going to be totally free. It won't always be free. I'm just making that very clear, but for now it's free. So when you see us post about it, if you're interested, if you've struggled to get your conversion rates up, if you struggled to sort of warm up these cold leads that might come into your business, or even if you just want to explore learn a little bit about how PPC works, lead generation, and all of that sort of side of things, because it's in the modern day, it is so important to not solely rely on recommendation, because it can take you so far. Yes, it can, but you have to have some other mechanism of generating leads. We're not like builders. If there are builders on here, this is a bit different. A builder could do 3 jobs a year, 4 jobs a year. We, in our industry, plumbing, heating, electrical, we need tens of jobs a week. So we need that constant flow of fresh customers coming in. Basically that's what the course is gonna go through. I'm really excited, because when I started this journey of Off the Tools and sort of sharing what I do and how I do it and stuff, I sort of stagnated last year, and Francis and Carolina have really freaking whipped me. They have. They're making me level up as a person, which is great. So I want to take my hat off to them guys, because without them, I would probably still be procrastinating a little bit, because I was sort of stuck with what to do. And this seems a logical next step for us to do. I think it's going to add huge value to those that come on the masterclass, because sometimes it's not about, you might know half the information, you might know it all, but maybe you just sort of have forgotten about it, or haven't had that kick up the arse to really apply it. So it's really designed for anyone that wants to just learn a little bit more or hone their skills on lead management, like from start to finish. I think I've explained that all right, no?
Absolutely. And we're going to show you some secrets, and we're going to show you underneath the bonnet, the strategies, the software, the systems that Wayne is using in his business. We're going to talk about automation, scripts, pretty much everything you need to run a 2021 trades business for this era. We're going to jam pack it all in a free session. This is not a paid course. One day it very well might be, but we want to see, we're testing some of the content, and we're going to be asking for your feedback. So stay tuned. There are going to be some little links in the group at some point.
Yeah, over the next few days, hopefully. So,
limited spaces available as well, because we want it to be a select group of action takers and people who are actively involved and want to grow and want to learn with us, and not just people that lie back and sort of can take it or leave it. Information
and knowledge, you may as well not have it if you don't apply it. It's as simple as that. So yeah, you need to be someone that is gonna get at it, you know, and really sort of utilize it.
Okie dokie. Thanks for the plug. And next question is from Paul Grayson Mather. He's interested in joining one evening. Well, come on, Paul, join. We're here waiting for you. He wants to do a focus session on marketing. Well, maybe we will do that one day. Maybe we will do that. We've got the people and we've got the know-how.
I think this Wayne's World series, you know, as it progresses, obviously it's a new thing. This is episode 6 or 7. I think it's going to be something that we try to niche down a little bit week by week, you know, because then we can get some real focused discussions around things. And obviously marketing is a huge subject. So I'm sure there's going to be a regular spot for that sort of thing. Definitely.
Okie dokie. Marvin Greenidge. Hi, Wayne. Saw you mention that you are starting a customer referral strategy. Mm-hmm. I'd like to hear people's views and ideas about this and strategies that have worked well. It's something I'm currently wanting to implement myself, but I'm not sure of the right strategy. Okay, customer referrals.
Yeah, so I used to do it and stupidly stopped it. And I have actually been behind the scenes. I've been building up a sort of strategy around reapplying it. So, you know, so I've got a decent amount of boilers that we're doing now. So I now want to sort of leverage that new pool of people to create more. So I definitely think referral schemes can work. It's a fine line because you don't want to be like giving away cash and stuff like that, where it feels like it's like might be a little bit of a bribe for them to recommend you. So I still haven't defined my strategy 100% at the moment. I'm toying with a few different ideas. One of which is it will be like I will have a few different iterations of the referral scheme. In essence, the idea is I want that customer to refer me, and if I get the sale, they get a reward. And I didn't really want to go down like a hard cash sort of option. So one of the ideas that I'm still debating is, depending on the person. So for example, say we fitted a boiler for Mr. and Mrs. Smith who have a couple of kids. The referral package that I would give them would be something that I feel would add to them as a family. So if they recommend me and I get a sale, they get a day pass to the local zoo. If there's like, and it'll be tiered. So it'll be 1 to 5 different things that they can get if they get a successful referral. And it'll be like meals out, Fort Park tickets, you know, things that aren't monetary. Like I don't want it to be like just £100 voucher or something like that. I want it to be like more of an experience for them, so that like when they go and have that, so say I give the farm tickets, the zoo tickets, they're going to have a great day out, and that's going to have subconsciously that's going to be associated to me, rather than if you just give someone like £100 Amazon voucher, they're just going to waste it on some piece of crap from China or something, and you know, and it comes and it goes. And obviously as a family man myself, I know how much that would be, you know, you'd really appreciate that. It's like thoughtful. And then other things would be like, if it's a young couple with no children, it could be an experience day, you know, where you can drive around a track for, like, you know, you can buy these vouchers where you can go and drive cars or go on zip lines and all that sort of stuff. The biggest thing that I'm struggling with at the moment is whether to make it a manual process, as in like physical, like paperwork to do the referrals, or whether to utilize some more software, because there's loads of referral scheme software out there. I'm just a little bit worried that if I go electronic, it's a little bit informal. So so Marvin, I'm still up in the air with it. I definitely believe in the concept, and you've only got to look at how big of an industry affiliate marketing is. Okay. And affiliate marketing is basically where someone gets paid for referring that, whether it be a website or whatever. Affiliate marketing is huge. Amazon fundamentally grew their business with affiliate marketing. So it's I think we can discuss this further in as the weeks go long, because basically I've set myself a deadline for January to launch it. So I'm more than happy to share my progress over the next few weeks on what I actually hone in on. But fundamentally, the answer to your question is yes, it's definitely worth it. In the past, I've done it. We used to give out like hampers and things like that, but even like wine vouchers to order bottles of wine and stuff. And it just goes down a real treat, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think I like your idea of the tiers.
Oh, you're on. Sorry, mate. I didn't realise you was on. Hello. Sorry.
Marvin. I didn't
How you
know
doing, all right?
I didn't know that you were the same Marvin, so I should have muted you.
We just took a punt.
Anyone who wants to chat, just wave, and so I can see you. Okay. Thomas,
rather than the money, I think that's a good idea of doing sort of like ideas rather than sort of money stuff, because I think that's a nice little angle really compared to what others are doing. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
A good touch point to start working on.
Lead Hero is the UK's #1 marketing automation platform for ambitious trades businesses looking to save time, make more money, and level up. Because just getting leads is not enough anymore. Lead Hero will help you triple your sales and maximize profits with our job flow acceleration system. Visit leadhero.ai to learn more.
Keep me posted on what you do in that though. Yeah, I'd like to hear what you...
Yeah, definitely. I will have a think as well. So I've just started my service and care plans now.
Excellent.
Starting them since January. So we're trying to find somewhere to improve them as well, because at the minute we're quite early in. So I've only got I think we've got 67 or something like that. So they're growing slowly. But
wow, that's good.
Nice.
That's a good number.
Yeah, it's been quite enjoyable, really, getting every more month doing tracking them and seeing our improvements. And we are improving every month. So,
and I love that monthly email I get from Go Cardless that tells me how much each month that's come in. It's like,
I've got it going into one account as well that I don't touch, so we just see it grow. It's just
I do the same as well. Yeah, so
it's like don't touch that account at all.
Cool. Any other questions around that referral scheme?
I think Thomas wanted to butt in here.
Oh, sorry.
Not from me yet on the referrals. No, I think it's just the touching point, which I'm just looking at as well. So probably bouncing some ideas around would be quite good in the near future. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Cool. Right. Go on then, Thomas. Thanks, Marvin. I think he's muted, Francis.
There we go.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing? Okay.
Yes, good to see you again.
And yourselves. Quickly on what you were saying before about the whole failure thing and coming back from that. That book we mentioned on the group, Profit First. That's probably the first book I read since I was, I don't know, I think the last thing I remember reading was like the X-Files when I was like 12 or something.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing I read. And honest to God, if any of you are in any doubt of to what direction to take, read that book, and it grabs you by everything that hurts and straightens you up and goes, this is what you got to do.
When did you read it?
Probably 18 months ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago. Yeah, we've lived in this house 18 months, and I remember listening to it quietly. My wife was pregnant at the time, so I'd have it like on speaker next to me in bed at night, just quietly listening to it bit by bit. So so it must have been 2 years ago, but we've definitely changed a lot since I read that and just sort of focused my mind more so on I think the best analogy from it was like how this guy was a gardener. Then when it came out to winter time, he spent a load of tools on doing internal work, and he got maybe 3 months worth, but he never actually eclipsed the money that he spent on tools. And it made me realize that we did like bathrooms, and we did boilers, and we did underfloor heating systems, and we do other bits, but it's like, hang on a minute, stick to one thing.
Yeah.
And just streamline it and be best at it. But basically you have all the equipment for it. We do obviously do lots of plumbing things. I think it mainly streamlined my mind to go stick with one system. We used to use different plumbing systems, and you needed a different tool, a different press tool, and that would break down and it cost hundreds of pounds to fix it. And I was like, well, let's just stick with one thing that we know and have lots of it. So, but yeah, I had a lot of difficulties as well and lost a lot of money because I wasn't keeping an eye
well, I never keep it on the books. I employ people to do it, but I had bad people doing it. So, but that really, really focused my mind. So profit first is 100% a recommendation, because you go and open up a company and they just go to a bank and say, hi, I'm opening the business account. And they go, okay, what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. There you go. Do you want an overdraft? Yeah. Okay, we'll give you £30,000. Oh, brilliant. Look, not once did they actually say to me, can you add up? You know, there's no vetting process. There was nothing at all. So it's really, in that sort of sense, you just, like you said, you think you're Billy Big Bollocks and you're the man about town, and you've got all this at your disposal, and all these people working for you, and you're the man. And then all of a sudden, 12 weeks go by and you've just got loads of debt, and you think, how the hell have I accumulated that?
Yeah, and it creeps up so quickly
whatsoever.
Yeah, I strongly, I think I said it last week. I think that when you register self-employed, there should be some like test
vetting
or
process,
some sort of like infrastructure that just gets at least if there was like even like a course, just like an online course that you couldn't submit the final document for self-employment until you'd like at least shown that you've listened to some guidance.
Especially if you're looking to employ people, which is 100%. The other one I read, which is really good, is Rich Dad Poor Dad.
That was the game changer for me. That was the first personal development, business development, whatever you want to call it, book that I ever read. And that was like the light bulb moment that shifted me from being like old Wayne to the new Wayne. Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. I even got my brother works for me, but I just said, read that. And he was like, wow, just completely different change. Thought process. All these people that go, I don't want to put my prices up, I'm charging X, Y, Z. So when you need to, otherwise you're going to die as a business. You're just going to die. And it really, you need to read something like that to make you realize that it's not, profit isn't a dirty word. And if you have customers that think that it's bad, then you need to sack the customers and move on to the next one. It's simple as that. But I'm glad I've read those books now, and I know I've taken big steps. But my thing now is, when you do a lot of boilers, do you have a process when you price them?
Yes. So we have a fixed day rate that I know what I charge a day for a boiler. So then I look at the job or my surveyor will look at the job, and it's a 1 day or 2 day. We have packs for, like, if it's a combi for combi, it's pack A. If we have a conversion to combi, it's pack B. So it's all just quickly added together and sent out. I can go from, my surveyor can ring me when he's in the car, van, whatever he's in, and say, right, it's a convert to combi, 1 day, no extra materials. I can have a quote from that conversation in the customer's inbox in less than a minute. So we're fast, we're efficient. There are times, that some jobs that you should have maybe priced a little bit more, but then there's others that you win that go in your favor. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not overly like precise with it. It's like, I know that's the labor rate. That's what we need to generate from that job. And then the materials, we work more on an average and what's left. Like, obviously there's always van stock, and bigger jobs have stuff left over and things like that. I think Marvin wanted to, carry on.
But your sort of success rate is, see, I'm always like writing down meterage of pipe and stuff, and I do find it quite, I'm like, oh, bloody hell, this is taking ages. So you find your success rate is pretty good based on just doing packs. Yeah,
definitely. So I wonder if I've got the information to hand. I use a few different software, so let me just see. So November, let's go into Lead Hero. So just bear with me. I think my conversion rate is around 30% at the moment, which to some people that'll be like flabbergastingly low, but I'm not cheap. We generate leads in a cold manner. So through not all of our leads, PPC generates probably 30 to 40% of our revenue. and they're a different kettle of fish. You have to treat them differently, and the success rate with a PPC is lower than what a recommendation or referral would be. So I want that to be higher, but I'm content with that. You know, it's not, we're making good profit. We're making more profit than we've ever made.
What's PPC stand for?
Pay per click. So Google ads, basically.
Oh, okay. Got you. Right, happy days. Yeah, well, that's what I'll do now. Then I'll just make packs and just stick it that way rather than just being so anal.
Yeah, sometimes you can be that is the exact word. You can be too anal, and I guess from my memory of previous conversations, you do some bigger stuff as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't really want to be as flippant on the bigger stuff, because if you miscalculate something, it could cost you a lot of money. You think of a boiler swap, right? What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
You know, you might need 4 extra lengths of 22 mil pipe, or you might need a new stopcock that maybe you didn't think at the time you needed. You know, you're talking minimal outgoings, aren't you?
No, absolutely. You know, you're right. Now, I wouldn't do that on the bigger jobs. We definitely use pricing software for that. But someone wants a boiler price, you want to be able to turn it around like within 24 hours, really, and
mate,
keep their interest.
Within an hour, we do it. We guarantee within an hour.
Okay.
Because customers are impatient.
Yeah, well, they are. Yeah, they are. We don't have. We have. You've got 80% gas over there. We're lucky if we've got 20% gas here. So with the oil installs, it's a lot more different. But we just got mindful because of flu. You know, it's very rare they're running outside of oil in some of these gas over here. But I take what you're saying and I run with that. Thank you very much.
Give it a try. Just test it. Do you know? Test it. See if you're comfortable with doing it. Say to yourself, the next 10 quotes, I'm gonna pack price it in essence, rather than sort of like be meticulous on exactly what you need.
Do you just write it down? Have you just got like a folder that's, you know, how do you save all the packs? Do you just have it?
Yeah, so my merchant knows the packs. So we predefined like what we call a combi pack or a conversion pack or a heat only pack. And then when I raise a purchase order through ServiceMate for the materials, and I literally will just put conversion pack or combi pack, and he knows what that is, and he just then puts it onto the order.
Perfect. Let someone else ask a question. Cool. Thanks very much.
Can I just take over for a sec? I need to say something to Carolina. It is in Plum Chat.
Okay.
I've just tagged Francis in it, but I can't tag you, so I don't know if you're a member. It might be that you're not a member.
Okay.
All right, sorry. Right, let's get back to the show.
I didn't know that. Never mind.
I think Etan.
Etan.
Hi, this is just for Thomas. Just a couple of things. So, like me and Wayne are obviously we're kind of mates, and we bounce stuff off each other. But
friends.
So we're friend. So I'm like really anal with my pricing. I have like calculations and this and that, and risk and all of that crap. And me and Wayne sat down next to each other.
This is hilarious.
So I'm like, right, so if we've got to put we enter this in here, and I just put this in the calculator, and this is going to be the risk on that, and we'll get the materials from here. And Wayne was like, we were literally on a piece of paper about 3 seconds. And then we sat down next to each other, and our price was like basically the same. So he got to exactly the same place as me, except for I had procrastinated and done this,
stress and worry,
But so that was the first thing. So I think Wayne's method works really well. With the packs, it's you're going to hit the mark there or thereabouts. And like he says, if you win on one, you might lose on the other, but you'll end up pretty much where you need to be.
Evens out in the end, yeah.
But the other thing is that you use ServiceMate.
Literally signed up yesterday.
Oh,
good man. Welcome to the dark side, brother.
Welcome to the club. So I've just, I'm sure she won't mind me saying, but Hazel, who's the ServiceMate's partner, who does all like really, really good support and stuff.
Spoke to her yesterday, yeah.
She's building me at the moment, and it's not just for me. She's building. I've asked her to build it, but it will be available to everyone. It's basically like a service. So as you do, or your surveyor does the survey, it generates the price for you as you're going along. So does it need a power flush? Yes. Adds the price. How many meters does it need a gas run? Yes. How many meters of 28 does it need? This. How many meters of 22? And at the end, not only does it actually price up the job for you, but it lays it out on like an amazing quote template with all your headed, and you literally just send it.
So we're using something similar like that at the minute.
Fantastic!
She's going to make that available when it's literally. I'm just playing with it at the moment. I've said to her to feel free to punt it out there. So I'm sure that if you speak to her, she'll be able to get that over to you guys as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Something like that, so you can get quick turnaround on the bigger things when you're doing a house and whatever, and you've got drawings, etc. Then you've got to take some more time.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
But like you say, you win some, you lose some. Your margins are going to cover that, and you can get a quick turnaround. So that sounds fantastic. Happy days.
That was it. Thanks a lot.
Mate.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, so just we started touching on pack prices. The way I started doing it at first is we pulled up probably our past 10 jobs, and when you start looking at them as a whole, they pretty much notice that the similarities in them, and that's how we started creating our pack prices. And now when I go and do the prices, I actually price in the house. So I'll go to do the job, price it, go to my van, and come back within 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll give them 3 options. So I'll give them a 5-year warranty, a 10-year warranty, and a 12-year warranty, give them the price, and then ask them what price best suits their needs. And effectively, they're already giving you a price what they want. So they say, oh, actually, the 10-year warranty works well for us. They've already agreed that price works well for them. Well, they say, actually, no, it's a bit too expensive. Can we look at the 5-year warranty? And then they've almost agreed the price there and then it almost gives them an opportunity to bring up their other quotes that they've had previously. And to be fair, we pretty much try and close in the house, but it's like a soft close because you're just asking them what price suits them best. And we've done that with pack prices and just pretty much spreadsheets and just having prices in the van, as long as you know roughly what you're going to be doing.
I love that, Marvin. That's
we use sort of I was using that software. I can't remember what it is. It's an online one on your website where you can put all your prices in.
Yeah.
Use that, but then I do it in the van, and then I have something which I can write down. I have an iPad with me, and I literally just change the figure on a nice. It's almost like a flyer, but on the iPad, and I just change the figure to go back into the house, show them the 3 options, and then they tell you what price is right, and then you almost just say to them, okay, well, when do you want us to start? Because they told us what price they want, and then it saves them getting any other people. And my conversion rate is literally skyrocketed since we started doing it in the house, and people love it because they get their price there, and then they don't have to wait. You don't have to email them. You don't have to follow up. It's just we always send them an email after, but pretty much we've tried to agree what the cost is there and then.
What's the name of that software, Marvin?
It's on our site. 2 seconds. Let me have a little look. My camera went out the wall.
I'd love to see it. Maybe you could share it in the chat.
Yeah,
you can find
it
that.
Was. Let me. Am I still on? Can you?
Yeah. The 3 options while Marvin's looking is, that is a very, very important point because we spoke with Aaron McLeish the other week about it, and we've done a podcast, so I don't want to dive in too much into this conversation because the podcast we really, really jump in on this subject. But the free tier option is really, really important because not everyone can afford the style boiler with the internet controls. Life is life. They might not have the money, they might not have the desire for that. So why price yourself out of a job when you could just have a couple of other options, so you can try and basically having a bigger net, isn't it?
Yeah, and it opens up conversation. So we do ours in packages. It was called True Quote, the one that I
True
used
Quote
on our website. Yeah, and it's all got different packages on. So we add on in the cost. We already add on a system cleanse and a power flush and all them bits and pieces. So when you're talking to them and they said, "Oh, it's a little bit expensive," you're probably £200 more expensive than what the other guy is. You say, "Okay, well, if you don't have an internet stat, we can knock that off." And because they're already packaged up with everything already on it, there's lots that you can take off instead of adding on, and it's easier to knock the price down, and then they think they're getting less value. So then in the end, they go with the more expensive price because you're just depreciating the value that they're getting.
Yeah.
So in the end, they end up going for or paying more than what they want, because obviously they don't want to lose value. Where that's how I lower my prices. I say, okay, well, we can swap it out for a cheaper quote, or we can swap it out for a cheaper boiler with plastic components, and just give them less value. And that's but yeah, the free tier works really well for us because it opens up their price straight away, so we know exactly what they want.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay.
Some good information there, guys.
Very good. Okay, we got a couple more questions. Peter Mason. Let me check if Peter is here.
He said he weren't going to be on, I think, but he might have snuck on. Let's have a look. I can't see him.
Yeah, we sort of touched on this, so maybe we won't dwell, but very quickly, Peter's asking about something that's been on his mind for ages. What's the best business structure-wise? Do all plumbing and heating, it's the generalist versus niche dilemma. He's asking, do I do all plumbing and heating, more strings to your bow, or do I specialize in just one area? For example, heating, or even more specialist boiler installations.
So my take on that is I specialized. I used to be a plumbing and heating company. Now, if you ask me what I do, is I own a boiler installation company. That's what I do. I think we touched on this last week, but yeah. It's a hard decision because it's a hard decision to say no to work. So you've got to be ruthlessly committed to making it work, because obviously you still need to feed your family and you still need to, survive. So you've got to have a plan in place to make that happen. Just thinking it won't make it happen. If you want to specialize in bathrooms, you need to generate enough. How many bathrooms can you do in a year if you're a two-man team? 25, 30 bathrooms, whatever it is. You need to reverse engineer, right? What if that's what I want to do? If it's boilers, if that's all I want to do, how can I make sure that there is going to be enough demand for it to be able to warrant the time? And this might just be me, but although my business is called yournewboiler.com, we still do other bits for existing clients. So if we fitted a boiler for Mrs. Jones down the road, we will tell her, look, we do other things. So if you need us, we're here for you, but we just don't advertise. We don't try to attract people that just want that. Because otherwise we just found that excuse the pun, but we just got bogged down in the crappier sides of the job that I just didn't want to do. There's money to be made there, and you could quite easily niche down in just repairing loos and fixing taps. You can earn a good living. But for me personally, I wanted something that I could create, in essence, products and sell. So it was more of a you buy it and we do it, and a more straight business. Whereas with sort of traditional plumbing, it's all a little bit messy. So my advice, obviously, because it's the way I do it, would be focus the most of your attention on one area. Doesn't mean you can't have a little bit of focus on other things, but where you put your attention, that's where things happen. So if your attention's on everywhere, then you're not really focusing on anything.
What do you think about these larger companies like the Pimlico Plumbers that basically do anything you want, and other businesses like they've started out with plumbing and now they just do everything from handyman stuff to electricity?
I think that comes with growth. So let's use Pimlico for an example, right? Obviously, I don't speak from any knowledge. This is just from an outside view. When he started, he was a plumber. That's what he focused on. And he focused on being the best plumber in London. Once he had built up that, he then focused in other areas. Mm-hmm. But that you can't, if he had tried to focus on being that at the beginning, would he have been half as successful? Would he have been a tenth as successful if he tried to be a multi-trade across London? No, he probably wouldn't have, because his attention couldn't have focused on that many things. I think if you look at their progression, it's gone in stages. It hasn't just all happened at one time. They've sort of narrowed their focus at first, obviously on the plumbing. And once that was successful and profitable, he focused his attention on handyman services, then electrical, then carpentry, and I think they do alarms, and they do everything now. It's an interesting thing. I might have a little look on their like timeline of what they've done. There must be some articles written on it or something somewhere. It'd be interesting to see if my theory of what I think they did is true. But that would be my guess on what they did.
Cool. Okay, I think we have time for one more question because we're pushing the hour now. This is a really good question to end on. And I really want to know the answer. I'd love to hear people's thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Wayne.
Is how do I shine my head so much?
No.
Look at that, man.
Not that. But it's close. So, Lee Jenkin, he's not on the call, is it? So, Lee Jenkin wants to hear your thoughts on where you see the industry going in the next 10 years.
So obviously, like, we'll all be aware of how the industry's changed in just the last 3 years. So obviously we've had people like Boxed and then all the offsprings of that type of business. I don't see that slowing up. I see Amazon, Google, and the real world powers sort of influencing the trades business, because I think it was left alone for far too long, and there's so much money that is in construction as a whole, whether it be building houses, whether it be repairing houses, whether it bathroom, whatever. There's so much money that floats around it as a whole, that the big players are going to be making big waves. You've only got to look at like Google local services that have come out with Google Guarantee. Amazon they've been trialing it for about 2 years, where you can basically buy your servicing through Amazon. It's only in selected areas, but that shows that they're going to be trying to do it. So I definitely think the big players are going to be coming into the market. I think from a technological point of view, I think renewables are going to start becoming ever more so important, especially, it was only yesterday, wasn't it, that Big Bojo announced about gas not going into new builds. I know they already announced it was meant to happen 5 years ago, I think, but I think the way the world shifted with green energy and climate change, I think we're going to see a huge acceleration on renewables. So I think that's going to play a big part in over the next 10 years in the direction of many companies. If you're 50 odd years old right now, you're probably going to be fine. If you're under 40 right now, I would probably say we're going to have to look at alternatives, because we're still going to be out there hustling, or whatever you want to call it, with this new energy and this new generation of tradespeople that are going to come through the system over the next 10 years that are going to be far more technical, up to speed with the efficiencies and the appliances. So I think that's where it's fundamentally going, is there's just going to be a big shift between sort of natural gas and whatever it looks like hydrogen probably is going to be the leading sort of domesticated energy that's out there at the moment.
We're always impressed and amazed at how big the market is, in terms of just taking one thing like boilers. And there seems to be, at any given point in time, there's always a demand, always. But, could that conceivably change in the next 3 to 5 years? I mean, will there be a point where there will not be any more boilers to service, boilers to install? And how will businesses pivot? What's after your boiler?
Yeah, well, I don't think in the next 50 years, I don't think you can ever, there's always going to be some sort of domesticated heating system that has to be looked after. I think long term, there may be, for the energy efficiency ways of things happening, it might be a more centralized system. Back to like central heating. Central heating comes from the term that there was a central heating point boiler that fed all the different flats in like the communist blocks and stuff like that. So I can see that new builds and new estates that are built over the next time frames will have maybe a more centralized performance system, because that is really the only way that you can get renewables into housing infrastructure that is so closely knit. Yeah, heat pumps and all of that and solars would be great if you had space, but we don't build with space in this country. We don't have the space. So yeah, I think that sort of angle is probably going to be bigger in the future. Then obviously, if that is the case, that then means that it's going to be commercially sort of maintained, isn't it? So the domestic market could be could change drastically.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Wayne. Oh, Etan wants to have some last words. Last words, Etan.
No, I don't want to say the last words. I just wanted to add to what Wayne was saying. So there's companies out there. It's really scary. Companies like HomeLink, companies like Switchy, that are building IoT technology, which is the Internet of Things, that can basically diagnose and repair boilers remotely. So how it works is that it's happening now in social housing all over the country, and it's active. I've seen it. I've been trained on it. The boiler tells you what's wrong with it. It can sometimes fix itself. If not, it can basically tell them exactly what they need to do. They can tell you whether there's a leak. So that it's getting scary, where like the human element is starting to be not needed anymore. So I think the gas engineers of the future will be like computer tech geeks, to be fair, because if you
plug and play, plug in, yeah.
Well, it's certainly something to think about. You're right. Like the business of the future, you got to be looking at these things, because if you don't know what's coming next, in the next 10 years, you risk just waking up one day and going, shit, I never saw that coming. But we've seen it coming very steadily and all around us. Yet a lot of businesses, not just in in the trades industry and in all sorts of industry, you're sort of blind to that change because it's not easily apparent. It's sort of like the wrinkles in, you wake up one day and you just see more wrinkles in your face, and the world has changed, and essentially you haven't anticipated those future threats. So it's definitely
you've only got to look at the taxi industry in London.
Yeah.
A staple British business of the black cabbies, right? They just laughed at Uber. Just, fucking app, that's never going to affect us. What's that all about? And then within a space of 12 months, it was like the tidal wave had come in and livelihoods had been lost and the shit hit the fan. And like you said, we're sort of like, all this change is happening and you've got to be aware of it, but more than just be aware of it, you've got to start looking into it and projecting. You've got to start taking some calculated guesses on where it's going, because otherwise you're going to be left standing still when the others are 6 yards down the road.
There's actually like a Bell model that where you can see like the journey from adoption of new technology, and then you go through the early adopters, and then you have the mass resistance, and then you have the people who it's disrupting or fight it, then they're resigned to it, then they believe it won't affect them, and then they end up working for them, or they end up you might even find that the black cabbies end up all working for Uber one day, because ultimately the people will go where there's the most value, the most ease of use, and the most practicality, irrespective. It's just the nature of evolution.
Another good example of that, right, is just quickly, I know we're running out of time, so I'm really sorry, but I want to share this story.
Mhm.
QR codes. Okay. 12 months ago, well, they've been out for 10 years, right? No one's really given a fuck about them, have they? Do you know, it's just been like, here, QR codes, no one really knows what they're doing. Everyone uses QR codes now. It's been like the quickest mind shift. So now everything that we produce is starting to going to be having QR codes and stuff involved because, you know, even old Doris, who's 70, that goes down a shop, you see her checking into the fish and chip shop, do you know, on her mobile phone using the QR code. And it just shows, though, how quick stuff can change, do you know, because a year ago, if someone had said you need QR things on your vans, I'd have said it's a fad. No one really uses it. You know, it's not really going to do anything. It's been there for so long and it hadn't really took off. But then obviously with everything that's happened, it just proves that, you know, in a blink of an eye, something that maybe looks a bit naff and obsolete, all of a sudden becomes a main player.
So, moral of the story, we're all going to be taken over by robots and AI, so we might as well just give up and go to Thailand tomorrow to the beach. So
Sounds good.
Let's finish this episode on a motivational high from Wayne. Go. Tell us, Wayne.
Wait for it to drop.
Okay. Go.
Oh, whoa. I was getting in my groove.
Okay,
I was getting in my groove. You are the only person that can change your situation.
Me?
You can make all the excuses that you like, but fundamentally, you have to take different action to get different results than you are right now. Go make it happen. No excuses. Let's go.
Hey, everyone. Wait, let me unmute you all. Ask all to unmute. Crystal!
Let's go.
You guys next Wednesday at Wayne's World Wednesdays!
Thank you for listening. This episode was brought to you by Off the Tools.
I really hope you enjoyed the show. I just wanted to pull it out there for anyone listening that I offer business coaching, but also life coaching. My life is centered around something called the 3 Bs, which stands for body, business, and balance. When you work with me as a coach, we tackle all 3 aspects of life. So you as an individual, body, mindset, health, fitness, knowledge, education. Business B obviously stands for your business, improving, maximizing opportunities, elevating, making more money. And balance stands for your friends, family, loved ones, you know, making time for everything in your life. And the 3 Bs is the core element to that. If you'd like to learn more, I would ask you to reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you might be consuming my information. Or you can email me directly at wayne@offthetools.co.uk. I'm here waiting to assist you to elevate across all aspects of life. Have a good one. No excuses. Let's go.